morning, good morning, good morning. So, bit of an early start this morning, but there's a specific reason. So I was coming to just 5:45 in the morning, been up since 5. Today is a little bit special. Today is a day that I'm going to be ticking off another of my father's requests and expectations. Don't be owned. What does that mean? Well, it means that if you work for somebody else, you're being paid, you're owned. You're an employee. Filming this video from my car on the journey to work at Bentley Motors. Today is my last working day at Bentley Motors. So I decided to kind of catalogue as much as I can. I can't film inside Bentley, but the journey to and from, I thought I might have just recorded and put it on a video for you guys. So there you go. A little insight in my life. You might be wondering, why are you giving up work? Well, the bigger goal was to finish off next year. It was to go to a job share with somebody else, go from 4.5 days a week to 1.5. But unfortunately, a good friend of mine, he busted his knee and is awaiting an operation, so he's going to be out of action for a while. So fortunately, those plans aren't going to go ahead. But also, family always comes first, no matter what. And just over 4 years ago, when my father was diagnosed with cancer, I could not afford to stop working as such and support two families. And I didn't spend as much time as I could on the remaining time that my father had in this world because of that, because I was owned, right? So for the last 4 years I've been working really hard, and of course in January, with me starting trading, thanks to Tino, aka Tino, aka Traders Reality, it kind of fast-tracked my longer plan forward about 3 or 4 years. So in essence, by March this year, it kind of gained in excess of 30 years of my working life back. So that's why now, because my mum, getting, sorry to say, not getting any younger, and getting some health issues with her legs and back, mine. My brother, who's autistic, spend time with him. And I think it's the right time. Retiring at the age of 42. I don't know if this video is going to turn out great or not, because I'm recording within the car, but it is what it is, as they say. But yeah, feels a bit weird throughout. I mean, I gave my resignation as such with notice. We're working through that notice, and it's been just normal. Yes, a lot of people will say, how do you feel? And I said, well, just another working day. It doesn't feel any different. Are you looking forward to? So, well, are you looking forward to retirement? Well, I'm actually going to be more busier. Not working than working. Reason being is there's main purpose. I need those hours that I'm committed to work and apply it to elsewhere. So yeah, I'm going to be a bit more knackered, but it's going to be an interesting day. I work for Bentley now just over 6 years. Joined Bentley at the life reset as such, just over 6.5 years ago. Joined an agency and worked through an agency for 3 years. Meaning that firstly, during those 3 years, at any given point, 24 hours notice, they could terminate you. And then I was taken on by Bentley and on the Bentayga SUV seats assembly, and been building seats ever since. Been training people, coaching people, and it's been one hell of a journey. So I was just sorry about the bumps, but now we're on private property. We're on private property of Bentley Motors. So I will have to stop the filming because there we go. So I'm very, very, very strict on regards to filming, but hopefully at the end of the day, I always try to finish in good terms any position that I take on. As I always said, when you're leaving a room, never slam the door, because you never know when you're going to need it to walk through it again. So hopefully you guys will understand the meaning behind that. Okay, so there we are at Bentley car park, due to start soon, my last working day. Everybody's coming in. Last time I probably see this car park. And hope I have a great day with no mistakes. Don't start making mistakes on the last day. But yeah, it's been a journey. Learned a lot, met some fantastic people on a journey, and I met some not so nice people through the journey as well. Can't have one without the other. So always take a bit of time before going to work. Get your mindset right for the day, no matter what's happening in your life. And a lot of people play victim of circumstances, but you're always down to you on your mindset that you take on a day. You wake up and you think you're gonna have a crap day. Doesn't matter what's gonna happen, you're gonna have a crap day. You can't lie to yourself and say, right, I'm gonna be happy today. It's a mindset thing. The same thing when it comes to trading. You could have the best system, the best indicators, the best signals, but if your mindset is not right to begin with, on a longer term, you will fail. And I apply the same strategy as such in my life. I try to surround myself with positive people, but you always need some negativity, because it makes you realize that you, as an individual, if you don't have a strong mindset, can very easily be dragged in onto that negativity, or especially your energy, your drive as such, gets sucked out of you. So don't be owned and don't owe anything. It's one of my father's expectations before he passed away. So through trading. I achieved the second part of that earlier this year, and now going into the last day of being owned. It might sound a bit weird as to, being owned, someone owns you. Well, you think about it, when you go to school, and you're studying, you're learning, preparing yourself to get a job, teaching you, unless you're go to college or university and specialize on something, and become a doctor or lawyer or something like that, then you're on top of your game and you open your own practice, your own solicitor's firm, then you become your own boss. That's different. Majority of people, get a job because they're, you got bills to pay, food to put on the table, kids to provide if you got children. But you are an employee. You get paid. You call it your 9 to 5. But that's what I mean when you are owned. Only when you break away. And most people, they live to work. Today, my last day of living to work. And after today, I work to live, and trading has provided, the market makers provided the funds to do so. Hopefully you understand what I mean. Sometimes it's quite hard to, what's going on in here, to bring it out on a manner that's understandable. Way too much going on in my head. But it's an exciting time to be involved in crypto. Exciting time. And been on this journey. It's coming near 9 years. 9 years. And finally this year, last year already, started getting some benefits as such from it. But this year, this year has definitely, through all the pandemic and everybody's, been stuck at home, I've utilised that time, learned something, learned a skill for life, thanks to Trader's Reality. And total stranger, came across a stream, questioned everything in regards to what I thought I knew, how crypto markets and markets overall worked, and I took the time to listen, hear what was being said. A lot of people talk, sometimes you don't hear what's actually being said, and I broke it down, tried to get a basic understanding of the hybrid system. I've applied it and proved to myself that not only do if I understand it, but can I repeat it? And each month, all the profits as such been pulled out, put into staking, do it again, start again with the same amount, do it again, and in March, April, May, June, we're in August now, August 20th. So after today, taking the rest of the month off, September starts, and let's do it again. Thrive. A lot of people question, I work hard. Well, yes, you might work hard, but there's somebody else working harder. I don't have time. You don't have time, okay, well, make time. Either through organise your time better, or deprive yourself of sleep. I'm going to put a video, a snippet of a video of a speech by somebody quite well known, kind of touching a lot of topics. My father was ahead of his time when it comes to time, and how most people see time pass by, their life passing by, and when they realise, later on in life when they're either retired, I wish I could have done this, could have, would have, should have, and living life with regrets. I can't do that. I've had too many regrets already in my life at 42. So you maximise, and that is my call to say, right, let's get ready for another wonderful day. But yeah, time can be a wonderful thing. It's used it properly. Use it to learn something, to gain something, spend it with family. So on that note, I'm going to leave you to it, and I'll catch you later on. Well, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to the last journey from work. So today it's now just gone over 12 o'clock, and I have finished my last shift as such at Bentley Motors. Just leaving the car park. I'm going to take you somewhat special to my heart. It's been quite an emotional day. I mean, I do have a poker face, so I don't show my emotions in a work environment, but I'll give you an idea. I was quite taken aback when the guys all gathered around. I've been working, some of them I've been working for over 6 years together in the same team. Some are new, it doesn't matter. But manager came up and said farewells. So actually nice. It was nice. End of a chapter. Sometimes you have to give up things you love doing for a greater good. What greater good there is than family. There's no greater good than family. Sometimes you have to make sacrifices, and that's the sacrifice that I'm doing. I'm just very grateful that I'm now in a position to spend this time that I've been allocated to work on family and the next chapter in my life. I won't go into detail what that's going to be, but yeah, it's 2021 definitely a year to remember. So a lot of reflections today. All throughout the whole week has been, this is the last time I'll be doing this, and this is the last time I'll be talking to this person. So during work I was ahead. I took the time to go and see one person. That person, his name was Rob, and he was my first person that taught me my first what's he doing? First process. Okay. And I went to his station. I started doing headliners. He was the one that taught me how to reset in my life. So I had no idea, how to do anything, and he very kindly took the time and coached me, and obviously provided me a skill. I was in that department near enough 6 months, and then unfortunately that department got dismantled or absorbed by something else, and I got relocated to seats. Bentayga SUV front seats only team, and that's what I spent the last 6 years at. So today I went up and shook his hand, thanked him for his patience, because I know it's frustrating that when you have your job to do, plus you have to show what you're doing in a a systematic way so you can learn. And yeah, great guy, and I'll always remember people that's done good. I always remember. So I spoke to him. Just give him a heads up. He doesn't know a lot of what's been happening in my life. Because funny enough, after I moved to seats, he got relocated to trim, another department, which is quite close to where I'm at. And he's been there ever since. But yeah, sometimes you have to make the effort of just to say thank you to those that made a difference in your life. You know, he certainly did, because, you know, if it wasn't for him to begin with, I wouldn't have gained the skill to do the actual work itself. So yeah, it's a shame. Dear colleague, he's off work at the moment, Mr. Novachain, because his knees is busted and is awaiting a operation. But I will I'll make the effort to go and see him. Oh yeah, it's been a strange day. If I'm really honest, I didn't know what to expect. You know, everybody was saying, "Oh, you're excited." Oh, it's my turn. What's going on here? You know, if you're excited, you know, the last of everything, freedom, all that. I don't see it like that. I enjoy what I do. If I didn't, then I wouldn't be doing it. I've enjoyed training and coaching people on the actual processes and actually seeing them grow. And you know, you can teach somebody to do something, but then it's up to them how they apply it. And I can truly say that I've trained quite a few people over the years, and it's nice to see them now, you know, standing on their own feet. After you. So we're en route to somewhere very dear to my heart, and paying homage to the person that brought me into this world. After you. Okay, thank you. Well, that's my father. Of course, you know, behind every great man there's a greater woman, and I tend to spend a lot of time with my mum, but my father passed away 4 years ago, and even though he's not here, I treat it as if he's here. So when I need guidance as such, or pondering, and then I come to where he's at and speak. And he might sound dumb, but that's the way that I've been dealing with grief when he passed away. Some people, everybody deals with a loss differently. That's how I deal with mine. And just today I've accomplished one of his requests. I thought it was fitting to finish off the working day at the cemetery where he rests. Well, I don't know, it might look strange me filming my journey, but just giving you an insight in my life. Changes. So I'll take the camera with me. Oh. So yeah. Might change this. There you go. The wind has blown this over. Okay. So this is where the man that I respect rests. Agustina Narciso Rodriguez passed away 8th of March 2017, and his last moments and leading up to his death, certain expectations were set upon me. I met some of them, some I'm still working on. And today, I can say, one of those expectations, half of it was accomplished early this year. Don't owe anything to anybody. The other part is don't be owned. So today is the last day that I'm owned by somebody. So from this point onwards, as such, I'm a maker of my own life. Father always wanted to go into business together, and I always refused, because I said, there's no better thing than being your own boss, in life. That's why I got the utmost respect for anybody that starts their own business. It doesn't matter what it is. And yeah, this is not raining, it's a peaceful day. This is a new cemetery. Unfortunately, the old cemetery in the town that I live was full, so you can see why. So, and this is the second time that I built this. My mum requested, there's rubbish everywhere. My mum requested, when my father passed away, to build his grave as around, and of course everybody, you need to leave it for at least 18 months because the ground's going to sink, and it did. But my mum's asked something, you do it. So I built it, and then of course it caved in over time. So then I've rebuilt it. So again, something simple, but I did it with my own hands. Don't know how to do any, woodcraft, but when you don't know something, you learn and you apply it and you move on. And that was the attitude my father had. We couldn't afford to pay people to do stuff for us. When he wanted to build a house, most people pay construction. Well, me and my dad and built it over the space of 10 years. Father learned how to be a masonry, carpenter, electrician, pretty much every single job under the sun. I think the only license that he didn't have was helicopter and plane. Every other license under that he had. You name it, he learnt it. And that's the principles that he bespoke to me growing up. And that's what I try to apply. So it's miss him. Miss our chats. But anyway, time to move on. Right. Sorry about that. Just have to have a moment to myself. My dad. Not exactly sure at this moment in time how long I'm going to be sticking around. So since January, end of January, it's just the Discord, we're traders' reality have been created. I tried my utmost to help as many people as I can, those that want to be helped, and it's a great community. I've met some fantastic people, some amazing people, and life stories just been incredible. And it's okay, it's not letting me pass. And it's helped me. It's helped me. That's why I always prefer to do video calls. Because when someone asks a question and you try to answer through writing, you can't. It's sometimes quite hard to, put your point across. It's only when you're face to face with somebody, looking them in the eye, you can explain things in a different manner. I'm a very expressive person, thank you. I'm a very expressive person, that's my social style, amiable, expressive. I'm a people's person. And I do treat my time at a higher value than any crypto, Bitcoin or whatever. So when I do spend my time, I invest my time on that person. And those that have taken on board what those conversations been about, their mindset when it comes to trading has changed. I still come across a lot of people who spend hundreds of hours going through the stream. They understand Tino's hybrid system, but they're still losing, and losing big. And some of these people have resetted their accounts. I've donated tens of thousands of dollars to the channel because I believe on its purpose, what Tino is trying to accomplish. And I just wish people spent a bit more time getting their life mindset sorted before even attempting to apply the hybrid system, because if your life is all over the place, guess what? That's going to reflect on the way that you trade. To me, it's common sense, but a lot of people don't see that, because their judgment gets clouded with the potential of the amount of money that you can make. I had this conversation with several people. There's nothing wrong with making money. That's the purpose, not a dirty word. But when you're trading and the ammunition from the market maker is your emotions, and you become emotionally involved with your trades, that's a recipe for disaster. And I've seen people that have done really well, really well, and lost it all. And when we start peeling the onion as such, we realise the reasons of being emotional, and the mindset wasn't there. You can only, when we talk about mindset, for somebody, it's like you meet somebody new. You can pretend to be something and put a mask on public, and everything's okay, everything's fine. But if you're true to yourself and ask those questions, what's the purpose I'm doing this? What's the process? How I'm going to go about it? And what's the payoff? What are you trying to get? What are you trying to get out of it for you, but also, most importantly, those around you? Because I've seen a lot of people making, a lot of money, and I can't advise, what do you do with your profits. Everybody's, they have their own agenda. But when I see people squandering money and then have nothing to show for it, crypto, itself is a way of creating wealth if done properly. It frustrates the hell out of me. There's nothing wrong asking questions if your thought process about something that you know gets challenged, but to dismiss it and just brush it to the side because you're too proud, arrogant to admit that there could be something that you don't know, or you're too scared to apply something that you don't understand and you don't take the time to understand it. That bugs the hell out of me. So, you know, if you want, there's people that's been extremely successful within the trader reality community. Some shared, some's moved on, you know, their successes, and you want proof? Proof is there on the Discord. You know, my side, I don't have to prove anything to anybody, just on myself. The only person that I share the bigger picture, what I'm trying to achieve, is the creator of the hybrid system, the person that put that together, and that's Tino. I've been filling them in throughout since we started to speak as such. So when you have something, a digital asset that can create wealth, not just for yourself, but for generation, for your next generation, if you have kids, and set them up for life, then all of a sudden, you know, your principles as a person, your morals, your ethics, your personal standards of what's acceptable and what's not, that comes into play. And this is why even though I could have retired in the beginning of March, I chose not to, because I wanted to keep myself grounded and allow me time to eventually formulate what I wanted to do in a longer term. But that's the way that I deal with it. Well, yeah. So, end of the day, I'm going to put a video together tonight of this journey, my last working day. And also, I'm going to put a snippet from a video that, in essence, has kind of hit the nail on the head in so many topics my father talked over the years about time and how you utilize time, how you think you don't have time to do this and to do that, and what you can actually accomplish when you are driven. And somebody that doesn't have drive because they don't have time, or it seems hard, well, guess what? Life is hard. My father said one time, you can compare life like a race, like a marathon race, right? It just seems daunting first time you try to run a marathon. And throughout life, you know, you go through different paces as a marathon runner. But it's only until you hit a wall, you know, you've been running, you're exhausted, you've got no energy, your body's crying to stop, 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 your mind is telling you to stop. That's where you, as a person, as an individual, find what you're about, when you break through that wall and you keep pushing and pushing and pushing. And a lot of people get to that stage and they have a little taste of that and it's too hard, and they go back to a normal pace. It's like a runner needs to slow down, so they never really push themselves and test their limits. It's like video, I'm going to eventually end up this video altogether, is a bodybuilder, famous bodybuilder, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and he did a speech and he kind of covered these topics, and And he explains that, you know, we worked full time and trained 5-6 hours a week and went to classes, and, you know, it was like ridiculous amount of hours per day, and he just kept pushing and pushing. And at the end of the day, you work hard, but there's always somebody else working harder. Okay, and if you go to the gym and you're lifting weights or whatever, and how do you know your limits if you don't push yourself? You know, when you know, let's say you're curling a 20 kilo or whatever, and your muscles are burning because your blood is filling the muscle fibers, your fibers are expanding to a point of bursting. You know, you're putting as much effort as you can and the weight is not moving. That's the point where your body is saying that's your limit, and that's where you push and get that one rep. That's where your muscle fibers rip, okay, and come back and repair stronger. So when you get to that point, you can lift more reps, more weight. If you don't do that in life and push yourself, you don't know what's your limits. If you don't know your limits, you don't get to find out how good you can be. And that is the majority of people, because they settle. And those that firstly push, and it's hard, and I've been pushing and pushing since my dad passed away. And I know my limits, both in life, in my head. There's people who are more successful than me. I accept that. But I know what they've gone through to get to it. So for me, it's time to repair. Because I've done a lot of damage on my body. Pushing and pushing and pushing. And I've missed a lot of family time. Sacrificed a lot to gain a skill for life. And on that note, farewell, and I'll catch you up on the next video, whatever that might be. Take care. Bye.
I went to college. I went and worked out 5 hours a day, and I was working on construction, because in those days in bodybuilding there was no money. I didn't have the money for food supplements or anything, so I had to go to work. So I worked on construction. I went to college. I worked out in the gym, and at night from 8 o'clock at night to 12 midnight I went to acting class 4 times a week. So I did all of that. There was not one single minute that I wasted. And this is why I'm standing here today. With the age of 20, I went to London and I won the Mr. Universe contest as the youngest Mr. Universe ever. And it was because I had a goal. You see, if you don't have a vision of where you go, and if you don't have a goal where you go, you drift around and you never end up anywhere. 74% hate their job in America. The majority of people don't like what they're doing, because they're really not doing it because they didn't have a goal and they followed this goal. They just aimlessly drift around, and then all of a sudden there's a job opening, so they get that job because you have to work. But then when you work, it's a chore. It's work. It's not fun. So if you think about, only a quarter of the people really enjoy what they're doing in life. So people always ask me, when they saw me in the gym in the pumping iron days, they say, why is it that you're working out so hard? 5 hours a day, 6 hours a day, and you have always a smile on your face. The others are working out just as hard as you do, and they look sour in the face. Why is that? And I told people all the time, I said, because to me, I'm shooting for a goal. In front of me is the Mr. Universe title. So every rep that I do gets me closer to accomplishing that goal, to make this goal, this vision turn into reality. Every single set that I do, every repetition, every weight that I lift will get me a step closer to turn this goal into reality. So I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound squat. I couldn't wait to do another 500-pound bench press. I couldn't wait to do another 2,000 reps of sit-ups. I couldn't wait for the next exercise. So let me tell you something, visualizing your goal and going after it makes it fun. You got to have a purpose no matter what you do in life. You got to have a purpose. And Muhammad Ali worked his butt off. And I saw it firsthand. And I remember that there was a sports writer that was there in the gym when he was working out and he was doing sit-ups. And they asked him, how many sit-ups do you do? And he said, I don't start counting until it hurts. Now think about that. He doesn't start counting his sit-ups until he feels pain. That's when he starts counting. That is working hard. And so you can't get around the hard work. It doesn't matter who it is. Work your ass off. There is no magic pill. There is no magic out there. You cannot get around. You have to work and work and work. Make sure of this and make sure of that and all that stuff. So it's work. And it drives me crazy when people say that they don't have enough time to go to the gym for 45 minutes a day and work out. Or to do something for 45 minutes to an hour a day to improve. If it is physically improve or if it is mentally to improve. Imagine you read 1 hour a day about history. How much you will learn after 365 hours in 1 year. Think about if you study about the history of musicians, of composers, how much you would know. Imagine if you would work on a business, on some business that you want to develop every day for an hour. Imagine how further along you will go and get. So it drives me nuts because when people say we don't have the time, we have 24 hours a day. We sleep 6 hours a day, so that gives you still 18 hours. So there's someone shaking their head out here in front. They say probably, I don't sleep 6 hours, I sleep 8 hours, right? Or just sleep faster. So we have 18 hours a day. The average person works around 8 to 10 hours. So let's assume it's 10 hours, so we have 8 hours left. Then you travel around an hour a day, maybe 2 hours a day. So now you have still 6 hours left. So what do you do with these 6 hours? What do you do with these 6 hours? Then we eat a little bit, then we schmooze a little bit, talk a little bit to people and all that stuff. But you can see how much time there is available if you organize your day. So you got to work hard. I hate plan B. And I tell you why. Because we have so many doubters, as I've said earlier, the no-sayers. We have so many of those people that say no and you can't do it, it's impossible. That is okay because we just turn off, as I said earlier, and we listen and we hear the no being a yes. You can't do it, you can do it, and all of that. So that is possible to do that amongst all the negative people around you. But when you start doubting yourself, that's very dangerous. Because now what you're basically saying is that if my plan doesn't work, I have a fallback plan, I have a plan B. And that means that you start thinking about plan B, and every thought that you put into plan B, you're taking away now that thought and that energy from plan A. And it's very important to understand that we function better if there is no safety net, because plan B becomes a safety net. It says that if I fail, then I fall and I get picked up and I have something else there that will protect me. And that's not good, because people perform better when there's no safety net. People perform better in sports and everything else if you don't have a plan B. I'm telling you, I've never ever had a plan B. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna go and be a bodybuilding champion. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna be in America. I made a full commitment that I'm gonna get in the show business and I'm going to be a leading man. No matter what it takes, I will do the work. I will do the work over and over and over until I get it. And the same was in politics, in everything like that. So to me, it is very dangerous to have a plan B, because you're cutting yourself off from the chance of really succeeding. And the reason, one of the main reasons why people want to have a plan B is because they are worried about failing. What is if I fail, then I don't have anything else? Well, let me tell you something, don't be afraid of failing, because there's nothing wrong with failing. You have to fail in order to climb that ladder. There's no one that doesn't fail. Michael Jordan said in one of his interviews, when they said, "You're unbelievable, you're the greatest basketball player of all times." I mean, tell me about that. And he says, well, you're just mentioning the successes. But he says, for me to become the greatest basketball player, I missed 9,000 shots when I was playing basketball at the NBA games. So during these games that he was so successful, he missed 9,000 shots. Does it make him a failure? No. He's one of the greatest basketball players of all times, but he failed 9,000 times. Do you get it? We all fail. It's okay. What is not okay is that when you fail, you stay down. Whoever stays down is a loser. And winners will fail and get up, fail and get up, fail and get up. You always get up. That is a winner. That is a winner. I failed in bodybuilding. I lost bodybuilding competitions. I lost powerlifting competitions. I lost weightlifting competitions. I had movies that went in the toilet and that were terrible and got the worst reviews. And in politics, I remember I had many of the initiatives on the ballot, and we lost. My approval rating in California went down to 28%, and then it went back up again, and I won again the governorship. Hey, we all lose. We all have losses. This is okay, and this is why I say don't be worried about losing, because when you're afraid of losing, then you get frozen. You get stiff, you're not relaxed. You got to be, in order to perform well in anything, if it's in boxing or if it is on your job or with your thinking, is only happening when you relax. So relax. It's okay to fail. Let's just go all out and give it everything that you got. That's what it is all about. So don't be afraid to fail.